My name is Ciarán Doyle, and I'm the Head of Infrastructure and Innovation in the Irish Parliament. And I suppose what I'd like to do is talk about the items that came up in the Digital Transformation Strategy Post-Pandemic Reality list of questions that the Bússola Tech team sent to us and Louise passed on. Had a look at the questions and found them very interesting. I'm sure everyone involved in the area did as well. And I suppose what I'd like to do is really run through the first half of them, because I think they're the areas we're most embedded in right now. And what I'd like to do is kind of spend some time relating quickly where we are and where we're going at the moment, and how that relates to the challenges that are ahead of us in the Oireachtas, what we've come through and what's ahead of us. So I'll just begin on that, if that's okay, and maybe somebody can let me know when we're close on 10 minutes. So I suppose the first question related to the main challenges you believe the digital transformation strategy can help in your legislative work process, and how it can solve them. And for me, I think, like many people in Parliament, I suppose we're probably looking at it from a three stakeholder point of view, and that's the staff you have on campus and who do the day-to-day work of Parliament to keep Parliament going. There's the members themselves, who are the parliamentarians and who we're all here to support, and then there's the public as well. So for me, in staff, I think the key thing the Oireachtas needed to do when it began its digital transformation was conduct an enterprise architecture review of everything. So we did a data analysis, we conducted a business process mapping, and we did a tech solution review to see where we were in terms of our technology to deliver digital transformation. And we knew we'd have to move and change from the technology stack we were on at the time, which was primarily a Lotus Notes based technology stack, to something with a relational database on the back end, so we could build out a new data model for the transformed digital Oireachtas. And then we knew we'd need to move off to a new development stack then as a result on top of that, which ended up being MVC.net from Microsoft, which we host in Azure in the cloud. So in meeting the staff and talking to them about their digital transformation requirements, we really mapped out what their future states would be with them, and learned a lot about what their challenges were. And then, as part of the transformation process, built business cases with them in mapping their processes to talk about how we would build out a new future state and address the issues for them. So meeting the business was the first key step in looking to solve problems, because we were hearing what the problems were from the business people themselves, from the staff of the Oireachtas themselves. So we're 4 years into that process, and I suppose what we've been doing for the last 4 years is really heavily building out on the stack 14 modules to date, which are all linked and interconnected. So we've one digital Parliament platform with 14 line of business unit applications. So like many parliaments we have, or all parliaments, we have offices which deal with legislation, parliamentary questions, the daily tabled matters before the House. In our house, called the Journal Office. We have our leader's office, the chairman's office, who runs the Parliament. We've been building applications for them, and we've 14 of them built so far. And we're about to go live with a new digital order paper this year, and that'll be the culmination of kind of the last 3 to 4 years work. But what that does is it sets up the ground for us as well to move on for staff as well. So what we'll do next with the staff is we'll move into the chambers themselves, and we'll start to take all the information that we have built up in the other 14 modules and start to not only process it in their back office systems that we've built, but now in the chamber itself. So in real time, we'll take information from back offices and move it into the chambers themselves, and we'll start to manage the chamber information and cycle it back to the back offices or onto further offices, to the website or to members directly themselves. So that's going to be a key next step for us with staff. We've dealt with all the heavy lifting of general work they do day to day in their business units, and we'll now be translating all the work they've done into our live chambers, into our chamber systems, where it'll be further acted on and then fed back to the business units. It'll solve lots of problems for the business units as they had them. It'll take away the repetitive manual tasks that they continually had to do, and allow them to add value to their roles. So, to be able to advise committee chairmen better, to be able to advise members looking to draft legislation better, and to be able to advise our chairman in decisions they want to make in a more timely fashion in in the rulings around admissibility or not of legislative amendments, say, for example. So that'll address a lot of issues and provide more value add to the staff of the Oireachtas. For members, I suppose what we're doing now by the very fact that we've built these base applications for the staff who do the work and prep the material, that now leaves us in a place to actually take this on further and give members direct access to our line of business systems, so they can have a more streamlined way of doing that. So what we're doing right now is we've begun building a members portal, which will act as a single place for members to be able to engage with business units on a range of work items in order to be able to do it more seamlessly, but all from one location. So our members portal is going to have 15 elements to it. And so far we've built one element. We've gathered the requirements for the second, and we're moving into gathering requirements for the third. So all members' needs for parliamentary business will be addressable in one place. If they want to raise a topical issue or parliamentary question, an amendment to a bill, make a request for research, if they want to do something in the line of just getting a real-time update from a committee meeting on a vote or attendance at a meeting or whatever happens to be, all that will be in one place for them. And that'll improve their relationship with the Parliament and how information is processed for them. It'll make it more speedy and more timely, and it'll really improve and centralize things for them. And then finally, for the public, I suppose what this allows us to do is to continue to improve on our open data set and make that open data set more valuable to people, to allow them to actually see what their parliamentarians are doing without it being interpreted in some way by someone else for them. So if a member goes to the public and says, I plan to do this, or I have done that, it'll be far more transparent and more transparent than ever before for a member of the public to be able to see that data and to interpret that data and make a decision on how they want to vote, in the next election, say, when a member comes to them. I suppose that's the key point here, or one of the key points here. The business units of the Oireachtas prepare the information for the parliamentarians. The parliamentarians act on the information and make the decisions in relation to legislation. And then they go to the public based on the record to seek a vote to return and continue to do their job. And that's your currency as a member of the public, and that's how we view it. And you get to spend your currency on your parliamentarian every 4 or 5 years, whatever it happens to be in your country. And for us, by capturing the data in this way, putting it all on one digital parliament platform, building out one single data model, and opening up the data in real time in the most advanced open data way we can, we allow the public to get the most value for their dollar, or their most value for their currency, whatever currency you have, or their euro, in order to be able to put that money down and put their spend their currency on the member they think meets their needs or is serving them best. So I think in terms of challenges there, that presents challenges for the public as well, because you need to do that in a good way. That data needs to be very clean. That interaction with the public needs to be very clean, so they know how to do this. So you've got to look at, how you build out a portal experience and create a seamless experience for the public. So there's problems in terms of going to a website and navigating a website to access data from us. And what we want to do is create a user experience that will allow the members of the public to create a relationship with the Oireachtas, something like My Oireachtas or whatever we're going to call it, and they'll be able to tailor that to whatever data set they want, look at any member they want, look at any piece of information they want, and have that information presented up to them in a way that suits them in terms of alerts, notifications, even just in the long term, an interface, a more streamlined interface into the members themselves. I think the final piece here and the solution we're trying to solve is not only will the members of the public be able to look at the record of a member and get a real view of it and a better view of it, what they'll also be able to do is leverage our systems, because our systems aren't only being built for our staff, they're being built for the members to interface with. But in time, we see our systems being open to the public as well. So not only can a member raise a parliamentary question and submit it to our parliamentary questions office, in time we would expect to see members of the public to be able to use our software to be able to raise a parliamentary question. And they won't be able to submit it to the parliamentary questions office, but they'll be able to submit it in a more streamlined and structured data fashion to the member themselves, and raise as many PQs as they like that way. And if they can do it for PQs, that means they'll be able to do it for other things like amendments to bills or topical issues that have come up in recent days, or in relation to motions or amendments to motions that are before the House. So what we really see is by building out, embedding in these processes and these new systems and extending them out from staff to members, we also see those things going to the members of the public in time as well. And any member of the public that wants to engage with them and use them and get better value out of their engagement with Parliament will be able to do so, but do so in a really structured way on our platform. So they were the kind of main challenges we kind of met and saw when we met the staff of the Oireachtas, and we looked at how to take them on then and address them with the members, because we met the members as well, and they said they'd like a portal where they could do everything and in one place, and that's what we're doing now. And we see by capturing all that data and having it really well structured and pushed out to the public, that will help them then engage with members more seamlessly as well, and ultimately they'll be able to avail of our systems as well. And that'll solve a problem of kind of lack of transparency or engagement that many people can feel out there with their politicians. I suppose then from there we said, what are the demands from these groups in terms of implementation of digital expectations? I suppose expectations are very high now, and you can become a victim of success or a victim of progress, maybe is a better way of putting it. So we, like I said, we've been on this journey for about 4 years now, and we've I'd say another 6 years to go. We have built 14 modules, as I said earlier, and we've got another 24 to go. So we're right now developing a 3 and 6 year strategy to deliver those 24 modules. So the Oireachtas' digital Parliament platform will have 40 interconnected and integrated modules developed for it, for the staff, the members, and the public by the end of 2027. And that is a lot of demand to meet. Business units are seeing the progress that's been made in other business units, and they're saying, when can I have my module? When will I be able to get my information managed in a new way on the platform, so my staff can benefit from not having to do repetitive, laborious tasks over and over again, that they'll be able to do, single data capture and all that kind of good stuff, and get to more value added tasks as well. So that brings a lot of demand from staff, especially when you're building out a 3-year program, which we're doing right now, and looking for budget. Our budget isn't annual, it's triannual, so every 3 years. So we're looking to confirm our next 3-year budget, and in those 3 years we will build out another 14 modules or so. And if your business unit isn't on that next 3 years, it means it's in the 3 years after that, and that's a delicate balance to be able to deliver something for everybody while trying to do the most that you can. But resources are limited. We can only run 3 development teams based on the budget we have and the staffing resources we have. So you can only deliver so much, and I guess you become a victim of your own success, or your, like I said earlier, your progress. People have warmed up to digital transformations at this point in time. They recognize the need from it and that they have to move on. They're seeing the benefits from it in the units we're delivering for, and we now have to continue to deliver, and we're on a really tight timeline to do that over the next 3 years, and then the 3 years after that. For members, what I would say is in terms of the implementation of digital solutions for them, you have to be very careful, I suppose, with them as well. Like I said, we have 3 development teams. We are creating one dedicated development team to now deliver the members' portal features I talked about earlier over the next 6 years. There's 15, I believe, modules or functions or features we will build for members on the members portal over the next 6 years. The team will be able to average about 2 to 3 a year, and if you just calculate that out over the next 3 years, they'll deliver about 9 modules to members and 9 functions to members on the digital Parliament platform, and the 3 years after that they'll deliver another 9 or so. So we have 6 years worth of work for our development team lined up based on the needs of members, and we can only do them one thing at a time, and that can be a difficult message to manage and deliver to members, because they expect a lot, and they expect a lot up front, but we have to be very careful with that message. Say, look, we can give you all of these things, and here's the vision for what that is, but it's going to come one thing at a time, delivering benefits each time, but it's going to take time. So 2 to 3 modules a year, continually building from phase 1, which is going live at the end of 2021. For parliamentary staff, I would say we treat them very much as proxies for the members themselves. So they have basically the same expectations of members. They want to be able to manage parliamentary questions, motions, bill amendments, topical issues, research requests, drafting of legislation, whatever it happens to be, because they do that work on the behalf of the members. So it's very important when you're in workshops with members gathering requirements about what they want, that you have party administrators in those meetings, and that you have parliamentary staff in those meetings as well. You stay close to them all the way along the design process and the development process, so they know what's coming, and they're constantly engaged in a live deployment and getting a new application, but also engaged in the requirements for the next one. So they know there's constantly something coming. And for the next 6 years, that's going to be our engagement with them. Here's a module that we just delivered to you. We've just finished gathering requirements with you on the next module to follow it. And we'd like to move on to gathering requirements for the module to follow that. So you're on this continual treadmill of one application followed by closing requirements on a new application, which is going into development, and then the third one, which you're beginning new requirements on as well. So that's a very tight and demanding workload to have, but it's very fulfilling because I guess this is one of your key customers. Public obviously being probably your number one customer, but your primary customer and your most focused on customer for delivery being the members themselves. Then I would have looked at one of the questions you had here about the main accomplishments of the Legislative House in digital transformation. I suppose 14 applications in the last 3 years is quite an accomplishment in itself. We started behind a lot of parliaments and we're beginning to catch up. We've learned a lot through forums like this over the last few years, and we plan to learn a lot more. We are going with a digital order paper, which would be very similar to the business bulletin in Scotland. We are developing a members portal, which is very similar to members portals we've seen in Westminster, Northern Ireland, and Scotland as well. We will be going into automatic speech recognition with our debates office and building out a new official report, our Hansard report system for them. And these are things we've thought about for a long time because they emerged in our requirements gathering and enterprise architecture work back in 2016 and 17 with the business units. But the modules have to come in a sequence, and you can't skip ahead and build the fancier ones or the ones that are more appealing. You have to build out your base and get your data model right and move to your stack. And then you have to get your base data moving right. Now that we've done that, I suppose we're very proud of what we've done, but it's really only the first step in 2 more giant steps we'll take. We'll do the next 3 years work and deliver another 14 modules or so, and then we'll do another 3 years after that, and we'll deliver something in the region of that as well. So over the course of the 3 years to date, I'm very proud of what we've done and what we're going to go live with at the end of this year in terms of the first members portal module and our new digital order paper. But it's really just a stepping stone on to bigger and better things next year with 3 or 4 more members portal modules going online, and more automatic speech recognition for our debates office, new app. We're bicameral, so we'll be taking on our second house and looking at how we do replicate some of the development we've done in one house in the other house, and we'll also be advancing the work on our committee secretariat as well. So it's just a constant treadmill of things you're proud of but don't really get to stop and take too much notice of because you need to move on to the next thing. But we are very happy with the work we've done. I suppose on top of that, then there's a couple of other questions which relate to digital oversight of public policies. The committee secretariat really in the Houses of the Oireachtas in the Irish Parliament is key to oversight of public policies, and the committee system that will be on the digital Parliament platform that we're building is 6 modules long, and we are halfway through that, and that'll be the next 3 years will be about closing out that development and finishing it.